I'm starting the recording. Okay, so we're all set. Okay, this is the review, just so you remember where you are. This is the review session for the trip that some of us took to the zoo to do animal portraits and other, meaning anything else that, that people took pictures of while they were there. For those of you that never were to one of our review sessions, I'll briefly tell you, that's Bob Oppenheimer. I'll briefly tell you how we do this. We review everybody who goes on a shoot or has pictures they want to submit for the review from another time, sends me 2 pictures. And then I create a PowerPoint out of those pictures. For the most part, we just review the pictures. The pictures are anonymous. Someplace on my desk I have whose pictures they are, but I think pretty much everybody's here that gave me pictures. We review them anonymously just because people seem to be a little bit more comfortable doing it that way. In normal times, which who even remembers when that was, we used to do this in the multi-purpose room of the social hall. So we would all sit around in a group and do it. And now we're doing it on Zoom, which seems to be working okay. After we critique the pictures, at the very end, if there are some pictures that I thought might benefit from some really simple edits, I do that sometimes in person, but today, because we have to get off at a certain time, I didn't want to miss the opportunity. So I did them yesterday and I put them into the PowerPoint. So you'll get to see them and see what I did, what I thought might enhance them a little bit as a before and after on the same screen. So we're going to do this as a screen share. And, I've done this screen share like 1 time since I've been back from camp. So hopefully this is going to go okay. Okay, I'm sharing my screen and I'm going to do this from the PowerPoint, hoping that it holds. If it doesn't hold, I also have it as a PDF. So let me start this as a slideshow. Okay. All right. Anybody that wants to interrupt at any time for a question, just shout out. There's not that many of us, so there's no need for us to all be on mute. But please, if something happens in your environment, like a telephone or a person yelling at you because you did something wrong, could you turn off your sound? It's a little embarrassing. Okay, so I divided this into 3 sections. The first section is animal portraits, which was primarily what we went there for. For those of you that have never been to the Palm Beach Zoo, it's a small zoo, and it's really pretty easy to take pictures there. And if you do a little reading, which we did some reading before we went, there are certain things that you can do to help yourself take pictures of animals that are inside cages, so that the cage is not in as part of the picture. So some of us were successful in doing that, and others were successful taking animals who weren't in cages, who were just moving around in the small environments that they have there for them. So the first section is going to be animal portraits. The second section is other. And the third section will be those edited pictures that I talked about. Okay, I try as much as I can to put similar images on the same screen if I'm sharing the screen. Sometimes I'll fill the whole screen with 1 image, but this seems to be an interesting way to look at images so that you can see how different photographers approached an image, either for color, for posture of the animal, for what they chose to make the focal point of the image. So comments. Here are our first 2 images.
Oh, they're great.
Well, I'll jump in. I'm Jim, and the inferior tiger on the left is my shot. And I like the one on the right a lot better, but in my defense, I was using a brand new camera to me. It's a sort of high-end pocket camera that I got because it has Wi-Fi, and I'm lazy and I wanted to be able to do things quickly with my pictures from the camera to send to people, etc. So I was still learning.
Okay. Oh, just so you know what this means on the bottom, for those, again, for those of you that are not familiar with how I do things, A is the mode of the, that the picture was taken in. So A is aperture priority. P would be program. Some of the cameras use different vocabulary, but basically that's a pre-programmed thing where you can adjust certain things. The second word refers to the metering mode, what the camera's eye was looking at to set the lighting and to set the sharpness. So on the left one, it's matrix, meaning it's matrix is also, I forgot what the Canon people call it, but it looks at the entire image and looks at all the components of the image to get the light metering, et cetera, that it needs to do its job. And this one is on spot metering, meaning that there's a small, tiny area that the camera focused on and also looked at to decide what the lighting should be. And the third thing is the ISO. The fourth thing is the f-stop. And the last thing is the shutter speed. Okay, so I think it's really interesting that both these cameras allowed nice sharp pictures at 1/80th of a open close on the shutter. I could never hold a camera. You'll see my shots are way bigger numbers because this is very hard for me to hold a camera stable. I'd need to be on a tripod to shoot at 180. But some cameras do a much better job at the lower numbers, at the smaller numbers than others. Okay, so anybody else that comment? I can see here on the left one, there's a little bit of a mark from the fence, but very small amount. Go ahead, Brenda, I'm sorry.
That's all right. Well, Jim, I think you're a little hard on yourself. I think the eyes and the tongue coming out and the paw in the back, I think probably some editing, which I wouldn't know how to do, would really make that a terrific picture.
Well, thanks, Brenda.
Yeah,
Go ahead, Paul.
I shot the one on the right, and I was lucky enough to be able to get it without the screen. I mean, we shot, both of us shot through, everybody shot through the screen, and I must have had a dozen pictures with, you know, the same screen effect as the one on the left, but I just happened to luck out, be close enough, and you know, the camera just caught it just right.
So that was behind a fence. I wasn't sure because there was another place
That was
where there were
shot,
cats.
that was shot through the fence.
Yeah, that is sure clean.
Yeah, but with the iPhone, you can't do that.
No.
Correct?
I can't imagine.
Okay.
Some of it is also how far the animal is from what's behind it.
Right.
So this animal is far enough away from the photographer and the fence and far enough away from the back of the enclosure so that those two things don't compete and allow the animal to be like free and not have the markings of the fence on it. That's really exceptional. I mean, the only question that I would have is whether or not you'd want to make it a little bit brighter, just a little bit, but I like it dark also, but I tend to like dark pictures. It's just interesting, the different color that it is because Paul's has a more of a yellow, warm tint to it. I don't know why. Any other comments on these? Okay.
Nice.
Okay, the left one is mine, and it was behind that same fence. And I stood there for a really long time. I think that's the other thing is you have to be really, really patient. This cat was walking around and around and around and around. And I knew in my head from what I had read that the cat had to be a certain distance like I was talking about. So I just waited and I only fired whenever the cat was what I thought the right distance was, you know, behind the fence and away from the background.
Terrific shot.
Both of them are nice and sharp,
Both
and the
of them.
eyes are
Right.
outstanding.
That's really sharp. The little drops of water on his whiskers on the chin on the left.
Down here. I think it's interesting. I had this on auto ISO. Look at how high the ISO is in both of these images. And
neither looks noisy.
Right. Well, my camera will go up to like 150,000 ISO or some ridiculous number.
Wow.
Yeah, and I didn't do anything to this to reduce noise. That's just how it popped out of the camera. But I don't know that I would, if I was doing manual ISO, if I was setting the ISO myself, I don't think I ever would have gone that high. But I've been experimenting with auto ISO in certain situations where I want to play with these two numbers and don't want to be bothered playing with this one. And so I was really pleased how it worked. I mean, the white is really white.
Yeah, it's gorgeous.
Yeah. The detail is great.
Okay.
I haven't seen her in a year before.
So somebody should be muting themselves because somebody's in their environment.
Sorry, it's me.
Okay.
Okay, I muted Morgan. Go ahead, now you can talk. Sorry.
No, you didn't mute, Vivian.
Okay. Sorry.
There you go. Any other comments about these two?
Yeah, I'm just going to say one thing that may help people with the fence thing. And Adrian, you nailed it when you said it's a matter of patience. You just can't shoot when the animal is close to the fence. The animal has to be away from the fence, but you have to be very close or as close as you can possibly be to the fence. The second thing is you've got to zoom as much as you can. The more zoom you have, meaning the longer focal lengths at 400, 500, this was, I think, shot at 400 millimeters, which is why pretty much I have a headshot on it. But if the animal comes too close to the fence, you don't have a chance. And the other thing I would tell you is that spend not only time walking and stalking your animal and looking for the right kind of lighting. Mine was in the shade, which is why my ISO was as high as it was. I like to shoot animal life in case he moves or he really jerks his head quickly. So I tend to have my shutter speeds up very high. But you would find that if you can get down a little bit low enough and try to work out the animal at your level of eyesight, eye to eye, it makes for a little bit better, more powerful shot with drama. Adrian, your shot is beautiful. I mean, I loved it when I saw it out of the camera. It's stunning. It's got great. I think the other tiger, by the way, Paul, the one that you shot, one was Malaysian. There was another tiger in there that was a different breed.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's why you had the difference in the colors between them.
Oh, maybe.
Yeah. So
I would also interject here what Anne said about going down to the level of the animal as much as you can is this is exactly how you have to shoot children. So if you're, trying to take pictures of your grandkids or someone else's children, get down to their level because there's nothing worse than having a whole series of pictures of the top of their heads. Or them craning their neck to look up at you. That's not natural. The natural is when you're down at their level, and then you get this kind of a look where they're right. They're relating to you as a peer at the same level. I have a question, Anne. There's a little green leaf.
Okay. I was just going to go there, and when I sent them out, remember you said so quick. I said, yeah, I got them out quickly, but I have edited that picture since. And what I did was I took the blue in the top corner out. I took that little leaf that you pointed out of his coat out of there. And I took a lot of the highlights around the outside that were a little too lit for me, and I toned them down. So the picture does have a little bit more of a dramatic look. Yeah.
What happens when you're looking at something this dramatic and your eye is like pulled away to some other place on the image screen? It's not as good as when those things are gone.
Yeah.
So it's worth it to take the time. Those are simple things to do.
And could you take the sun off of his nose, or would you not want
to? I like the sun on his nose. I like the fact that there's a little sense of shadow and highlight in there. Maybe I might have toned down the nose a little bit, but I do like the fact that the light is on his face and showing a little bit of a difference between shadow and light. So me personally, I probably wouldn't take that out.
Yeah, I agree. I love it.
I like it too. It's stunning.
Okay, comments?
It's a high contrast picture. Very difficult with lighting because you've got sun and you've got shade and a black bear. It's very, very tough. As we got to that zoo at a certain time of the day when the light started to get harsh, it makes it really, really hard for that. So that's part of what's happening here is a little bit of high contrast in it. But the bear has a little bit of a simulated movement, which is nice. Its paws lifted up, it's moving. I would have liked to seen a little more of the face, but that sometimes requires, like I said, a tremendous amount of patience to wait for the, and sometimes those guys, they just go in the back corner and they lay down and they never see him again. Right. So you shoot what you can when you got it, because they don't want to cooperate necessarily.
There was one enclosure that had this really nice waterfall, and there were two cats in there, and they kept walking behind the waterfall, but they never came to a place where I thought the picture would be decent. So even though I wanted to take a picture there, I walked away. And that's part of recognizing what you're capable of doing or not. Now, if you were just taking a snapshot, yeah, that would have been okay. But I wanted something more. I wanted something with that animal doing a behavior, playing with the water, drinking the water, walking through the water, and none of that happened. So I just didn't stay.
I can also guess on this picture, it was shot at an f-stop of 3.4, which doesn't give you, it's pretty much flat Stanley. It doesn't give you a lot of depth of field. I'm seeing pretty good detail in the boulder up front and in the rock that's right in the foreground, and even some detail on the bottom of the reflection of the water from the weeds down underneath there. And I just think what was missing here was where the focal point was, with that kind of a flat lack of depth of field. The bear itself wasn't really where the focal point was.
The bear, I think, I'm looking at the bear, is almost out of focus. As you said, it's the focal point in the distance. But then the lighting, especially in the back, where it's so bright and the front, it just doesn't work. It's nice capturing it, but it doesn't work. I don't know. I wouldn't blow that up and put it on my wall. That's
right.
I wish they would let us go into the zoo and start shooting the animals at like 8 o'clock.
Yeah.
But doesn't happen. So, yeah. Luck of the draw, some of this is.
Oh, how great is that? That's so
great.
Cute. That's great.
So those little guys, those little tamarin, golden lion tamarins, they are quick. They move and they jump all over the place. To find the two of these to sit on top of them, I probably had to stand outside that cage. I was with my buddy, and we must have been there for over an hour, just waiting for the stupid things to get in the right spot, to get them together, to get them with a lighting. And you notice I have a lot of chain link in the back. I got rid of the chain link in the front, but there was no way to get rid of the chain link in the back. Cage was too small, couldn't happen. So, but they're cute.
Very nice.
Thank you. Cute eyes.
Yeah, it's also, I was saying about shooting children by getting down low. The other thing is it's similar to shooting sports. You have to, like Ann said, you have to know the behaviors. In sports, you have to know the rules. You have to be able to anticipate where the action is going next. And that's a similar kind of thing. Like I was saying, when I stood by that cage with the cat, I just watched what he did, how far he went, how close he got to before I ever even put my camera to my eye.
Yeah, patterns of movement. Yeah. And I will say this, if you look at that, the thing I don't like about the shot, which is my shot, is I love the light that I caught in the little monkey down below. But look at the difference with just a touch of shade with the head of that tamarin up a little bit higher, and notice the eyes are black compared to the eyes of the little guy underneath. That's what you miss when you just don't have the light in the right place. So cute as they are, but.
And in any event, it's a great picture.
Yeah.
I love it. Mm-hmm.
Thank you. They're cute animals.
Yeah, they're adorable.
Adorable. Yeah.
They're very cute to watch. kid shot one of those years ago that was beautiful.
What are they?
They're golden lion tamarins, or tamarin golden lion tamarins, I think something of it. They're tamarins, I think they're called golden lions.
Is that like a monkey? Are they monkeys?
I think they are monkeys. They're definitely monkeys. Little guys though, they're not that big. So, very pretty.
This is Miriam's. I guess she got hung up with something. She wasn't sure she could come, but she sent me 2 images. The colors in this are just beautiful.
Gorgeous.
Just
soft
beautiful.
Color palette, really soft color palette. Just nice detail. The feathers are fluffed out. It's got some nice aperture blending of the background, which doesn't take away or distract from the bird. Very, very pretty. Yeah,
the one thing is that it's not sharp up here. And that's this, or partly that.
Exactly, because it got the back of the bird, which was closest to the camera, which is flat Stanley when you're shooting something right up against the wall where you don't need a depth of field, but there wasn't quite enough at f4 to get the back of the head, which was a little deeper in the frame, to come out. So probably would have been better off at an f6 or a 6.3 or maybe even a 7, but very pretty though.
Yeah, again, that's something that I learned in sports photography. If I'm shooting a soccer match, even though it'd be really terrific to have the background super blurry, I never go down this low because I lose part of the player. Like if their arm is out or their leg is out, I'll get one part of their body sharp and the other part of their body not sharp. So I'm always at 6 or 7.1. I don't even bother going lower than that for any kind of motion where it's coming towards me. If the motion was a horizontal motion, that might be a different story, but the motion's coming towards me. I need to have a depth of field to capture sharpness, if that's what I'm looking for, all the way through. And that's what happened here. I think there's like, this area is sharp.
Yeah.
And then everything behind that area is softer. It's
It
still
also
beautiful.
It makes a difference sometimes, Adrienne, also where your focal point was. If your focal point with your depth of field, the emphasis was on the eye and the head, then maybe the feathers, which were closer to us in the foreground, might have been a little more blurry, but the head would have been a bit more sharp. And most people with animals or children or sports, they look at the eyes. They're looking for the eyes. So,
and that means, for those of you that don't know this, if you use a spot to, I mostly use a spot to meter and focus in a spot or center weighted. If I don't do anything, if I let the camera use its default settings, that area is right here. Okay. But you can adjust that. You can move that spot up here. So if you're taking a picture of somebody who's moving or an animal like this, and you know their head is near the top of the image, there's nothing wrong with moving that up. The same thing if you're taking a picture of somebody that's on the side of the image. For some reason, the person is over here. Don't leave the focus and metering portion of the camera lens here. You want to move it over. So that, and it's a simple adjustment that you should learn in your camera. When you're shooting with a phone, you're touching that area.
Yes.
So you put your finger there and that's where the focus will be.
If you don't know how to move the focus point in your camera, and let's say it's locked with that little box in the center, then move the box to the eye, let it focus on that, lock the focus in, and then recompose the picture.
Right. You lock the focus down by going halfway down on the shutter and then recentering yourself.
Right.
So you can do it that way as well.
I don't know what was in the picture, but I would have preferred seeing the full tail as well. But it may have been that there was nothing good, that it was cropped at the bottom.
Yeah.
Just roughly chopped.
I normally I don't care, but in this one, it must be just as beautiful as everything else. And so I feel I want to see it.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
Now that bird, I went back to when we were there in 2012, and I was looking back through my photos, and that guy, I think that one, or if it's not this one, there was another one that I took a picture of. It's the same bird. Been there
really?
Yeah, he's been there for at least 9 years that we know of.
But their lifespans are like 75 years. They can live 70 years.
Did he look any older?
And he was on the same perch.
Yeah. And
That's very cool.
Most people die before their parrots do.
Yes, that's true.
Get a parrot and you better have somebody who's prepared to take it. Look at him, he's cute.
Not.
Prehistoric.
Yeah, he looks reptilian to me.
As long as he stays at the zoo, he's fine. When he comes visiting us, it's another story.
Tyrannosaurus Rex. Yeah.
Smiling.
Good eye shot, right? Level with the eye, which is nice. Nice detail on the little spines. Those little spiny guys, those iguanas in Florida, they also eat protein. So they're just not all grass eaters. They eat other things like baby birds and eggs.
Oh.
The ones we have here. People think that they're vegetarians. And I'm like, not all.
Yeah, this one is really spiny. Here and in the front, it's a lot of them.
Yeah, and you saw a lot of shadow in that too, shadow and light. It was another tough lighting situation, but photographer did pretty well with that. Little tight on the nose. I would have preferred to see a little more space in the front of the bird. I mean, the front of the iguana. Just a little bit more negative space out there. It would have set him up. A very nice picture. It really is.
I like the way the greenery goes so nicely with the spikes on the back of his body. You know, that looks so cool together.
Green spikes and beige spikes.
And these spikes, whatever they want to call them, I don't know. But
Tyrannosaurus Rex.
Okay.
By the way, they climb screens very well.
Let's not discuss it. This one looks a little overexposed to me.
A little bit clipped. It's a kookaburra, I think. That's what that is. Nice bird.
I think you could darken the whole thing even without isolating some spots, and it would improve.
This is one of the ones that I edited. You'll see at the end. But I love the fact that you can see inside the mouth, inside the beak. And
there's nice detail in it. Yeah.
I mean, all of the marbling on the beak is just really well captured.
Yeah, it's very nice. Enough negative space around. It's a nice headshot. Nice eye.
nice blurred background.
The eye has catch light. It has that little white spot, which is what they call catch light in an eye, and that's just a nice touch. It's just an added touch, added plus. A little darker, the whole picture would be stunning. Yeah. Now there's one a little darker. Very pretty.
Yeah, I like how the light is coming in over here.
Beautiful. Beautiful with the side lighting.
It probably would benefit from cloning out the some of the spike going through his head.
This.
Well, that's sometimes a matter of when you don't know, because where those birds were on those perches, it didn't give you an awful lot of room with where you had to stand outside the area. So if you could, the first choice is to move your body a little bit. Maybe if you had to move a little more left, you would have had a little bit more of the duller background behind there. But you don't know if that was a possibility or not. Pretty lighting though, pretty nice clarity, nice detail. Yeah.
Is that my shot?
I think so, Marty.
I thought I cloned it out. I cropped it. It looks like it didn't hold.
Oh, you need to save it after if you're using Picasa, you need to save after every time you do anything. Otherwise it doesn't hold.
It's very pretty, Morty.
Yeah.
Nice.
Thank you.
Beautiful.
Yeah. I love all this fuzzy red stuff.
I love the light in the eye.
Yeah, right in here. It's just, the eye is just beautiful.
Focal point was perfect.
Yep.
Stunning. Yep.
Okay, this one I don't remember this. I didn't get any metadata. That's why there's nothing underneath. Sometimes when it comes to me, it doesn't come with that. Yeah, it's Marty's. I didn't even see this eagle. Where was this?
I don't know. I cropped that. I cropped. I know I cropped that. It was the branches and everything. I cropped it out just to highlight the head.
They were ducking down low behind two big pieces of wood. It was really, you could get the head sticking up, but it was very hard to isolate any more than just the head. In the shot up on the left, the aperture is really reducing a little more of the distraction in the background, needs a little more editing. The one on the right, the eagle's head is lovely. It could use a little more contrast, and that goes back, there's your F8, and there's your lattice work back behind, kind of taking away a little bit from the bird, but it's still lovely. It's just a lovely eagle shot.
Yeah, they're great. The detail is really beautiful in both of them.
Yep. Like them both.
And all of this down here, whereas here I can't see as much of it, but here I really like the light coming in from the side. That's really pretty. Yep. Like there's almost like rim lighting on the beak, which is lovely.
And you got the lighting on the top of the head on the other one.
Yeah, all in here.
They're just pretty.
Yeah, both of them.
They sure have the same expression.
Yeah.
They look like twins.
It's like, don't tread on me.
Like, I'm not happy here in the zoo.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, here are things other than animals.
Oh,
even though it's a part of an animal, I just stuck it in here.
Beautiful.
Just gorgeous.
Absolutely beautiful. Nice feathers on the flamingos. Gorgeous. Just soft colors, nice deep contrast.
I love that it's black in the back.
Nice little border around it.
Yeah.
Very pretty.
What's lovely about it is that you recognize it right away as a flamingo.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I love all the
Great
detail.
job. Very artistic, a nice isolated one. It's very pretty. I like this too.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, it's interesting.
I was looking for texture. When we walked into the zoo, where I walked in, there was those fences with all the knots on them. I took a series of those also, just looking for the texture and how much I could capture. And then I saw these hanging up there, and I thought, gee, this also, even the green itself, the glass has, you can almost touch that it's pimply, not shiny. And so I'm happy with what I got here.
Very, very pretty.
Ropes.
It's very interesting. It's very artistic.
Nice color.
Yeah, it's very, very pretty. Well done.
And again, you see where I left it at 7.1 because it is three-dimensional, and I wanted to make sure I got sharpness from the front all the way around the corner to the back. But it's still, because the background here was so far away from the object, it's still blurred out, which I was sort of happy about.
Yeah, good choice. Wow.
I didn't see any of this. It's like, I don't know where this was.
That's by the bathrooms.
I guess
it's
I
by
didn't.
the food. It's by the food.
Oh.
We didn't go near the food in the bathrooms. I missed that. Very nicely done.
If you've been to the zoo as enough as we have, I don't have to worry about where it is. I know exactly where it is.
Well, that green bottle was also near the food, but on the opposite side of the little lake, there was like a bridge there. So I didn't go around to where the food thing was. But I really like this. I might crop away this area here. It just doesn't seem to be adding anything.
Me too.
It's like distracting.
Yep.
It might need a little straightening.
You know what I would do with that post? I wouldn't eliminate it. I would go halfway up and down, like cut it in half.
Right.
So
it's
a
here.
border, but yeah, like that. So
right.
It holds that left side.
It's like a frame. Yep,
Yeah.
I agree. There's actually another one back there. So it probably, if you cut this one in half, would make the other one more, you know, like see it more, so that you'd have two, you'd see that there were two. What would you straighten?
I'd take a little off the right side.
I just feel the right has to go up a little bit when I look at it.
Well, but if you have to decide what you're looking at, because like if you look at the edge of the door frame, like the part of the body that's here, that's straight. And this guy is also straight.
Okay,
So
the road might be going down.
Yeah, I think so.
The building is also straight.
Yeah,
right behind
yeah,
the
back here.
of the truck.
Yeah.
Right.
So that would make a mess.
The fence is listing a little bit, but that's sometimes that fence is hard.
It's an old zoo.
Okay.
Yeah, it's an old zoo.
Very old zoo.
Right. So cropping off a little bit on this side to get rid of this crooked tree trunk, and cropping off some of this area on the left side. And that would be good. This came out great.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a picture of somebody else's art, but the lighting and the dappled lighting,
which is pretty,
really, really nice.
Nice detail, nice f-stop there on f6 is perfect for a flat Stanley kind of look. It's good. Nice detail. Tells a bit of a story too.
Thank you. That's mine.
Yeah, I like it a lot.
I'm just glad I'm not seeing him spear an animal.
Yeah.
That would ruin it for me a little.
There were a couple of these, what do you call it? They're like I forgot what you call it. Like this bass relief. Yeah, bass relief.
Cute.
Nice.
Yeah, I miss the merry-go-round completely too. That bums me out because I love merry-go-rounds.
Oh, I played with those little horse heads and those little lions or leopards. I played the hummingbird. I played a lot with that. Yeah.
Yeah, I did too.
Yeah, I took a lot of it out because I was going to use it for composites later on.
Oh, interesting. Yeah.
A lot of things I shoot now isn't to use now. It's maybe to use later, but very cute shot with the whole. It's a nice global look, you know, with a nice picture, street photography, more or less.
Yep.
Kind of fun.
Yeah.
Well, the person in front adds a lot.
Yeah, that's one of our members. That's Virginia. Her husband took this.
Yep.
Yeah, I wonder if it would, and again, if you step back a little bit, maybe would have gotten a little bit more of the, I want to know what's up there on the top. You don't have to have it, but it just, I'm sure it's pretty.
I would have liked that, and I probably would have liked the full length of her body with her feet and her shoes in the picture. It's just a little chopped off at the leg, but all in all, it's just a lovely picture.
Yeah.
Nice detail in the capture too.
Yeah, nice and sharp.
Yeah, very sharp.
Well done.
Yeah. There it is. That's what I played with a lot of. On the head. I wanted to climb over the thing and get inside the carousel.
Right, on the other side of the fence.
I said, maybe not.
Yeah.
Oh, you didn't have a fence anyway.
That almost looks like somebody climbed inside to get down his throat. That was great. Really cool.
I think really nice, and just, shot with a phone.
Yeah.
So really well done.
Phones are fun.
Again, something I completely missed. Such a shame that it has these green man-made plastic things in the back, because the rest of it is so cool.
Yeah, unlike the fence on the left that you played with. Adrian, I played with that too, all those little knots and things.
Yeah.
Very clever how they put the fence together, and then he had that green barricade up there, yeah. Yeah.
I like the way the photographer, where they stood, what they chose to include. But I would have shot this like 6 or 7 different ways. I mean, maybe they did, but I would have kept moving a little bit, a little bit, a little bit, a little bit. It'd been interesting to see if you could get anything where you didn't see as much of that green fence, that barricade, because I think that would have added.
Part of what it does is it also is a little bit of a diminishing perspective. So you're looking at the walkway narrowing down and rounding the corner to the right, which makes you kind of wonder what's around the corner a little bit.
Nice.
Coloring.
And you also, the person who shot this, because I didn't find it, if I had been there, I would have shot a lot of different detail things, like these little bolts up here, little pieces, some kind of a wash thing here. There must be lots of cool rusty hardware. And just going in and focusing on something small as a detail, you would have had a lot of fun things to do here.
Well, I'm not a photographer.
That's all right. You did a good job, Zev.
Thank you.
Yeah. If you hang out here, you're going to become one.
This is Miriam's second shot.
A nice shadow.
Yeah. I just think for a picture of nothing special, it's really got a lot of detail, a lot to look at. I like it.
Kind of makes me wonder what's at the end.
Yeah, exactly.
It ends, you know, in the jungle with the barricade running across. Interesting. We missed that too. Adrian, you didn't go back on that one. See that either, did you?
Yeah, no. I actually may have walked on it and been distracted by whatever's like in the water or whatever it's going over.
They're like go in and out.
Just as a nice image.
Yeah.
Okay, so this was just, I wanted to remember to say about taking multiple pictures of the same thing from different areas, including different amounts. So I just like rapidly shot these 3 images, zooming in and out. And because I had no idea how it would look. Again, what I was looking for was texture. So, you know, all the stuff coming off the rope, all of this areas, the areas in the wood, but I wasn't sure which would give me more. So I shot for the whole thing, then I went in, then I came out a little bit more, and I just wanted to remind people, don't waste it. You're there. Take a few, take horizontal ones, take vertical ones, take close-up ones, take farther away ones, change your settings, really work the subject because you don't know how it's going to look when you get it back, you know, and even if you do know, it's still good to have more.
That's just lovely. Really is lovely.
Adrian, this is great. It's a great 3 pieces to put on a wall, Adrian. It's
yeah.
terrific. That's really great. Great for camp, Adrian.
Yeah.
In the end, Adrian, which one did you like the best?
I think the middle one. I like the more a little bit different part of the rope. I don't know, but then wasn't sure about this green piece. You know, it's not like a super artistic picture. It's just on this one, I like the knot. So maybe I should have shot a horizontal here.
I like seeing more of the rope.
Yeah.
I like that one the best.
Yeah. And this was also auto ISO. The camera knew just what to do with the auto ISO. Okay, so now I just want to spend like 5 minutes imploring those of you that are taking pictures to go the extra little bit and do a little post-processing. I'm not a person to tell you to spend hours on an image the way Miriam does. She gets fabulous results. I don't have the time or the patience to do that. But I am telling you that I did these edits with 1 or 2 clicks. And if I can do them with 1 or 2 clicks, so can you. I either used Picasa, which you can't get if you don't have it, and I used Photoshop Elements, because Photoshop Elements, and I guess Photoshop also, has a click called haze reduction, which is like magic. All right. And I use that on almost all of these. So watch and see what happened to these pictures. Okay. So I took this picture, which I love, and I darkened it a little bit. This was in Picasa. I increased the contrast and I put a vignette around it, which to me put more attention on the nose and the pinkish of the nose and on the tongue area, this area in the middle. But it focused the eyes in.
Yeah, the lips, the mouth, the eyes, everything is bright. Contrast increase is just beautiful. Yep.
And again, we're talking about click, 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 done. Okay, here's that picture that everybody said needed to be a little darker.
Wow.
Oh, that came out really nice.
And I didn't even darken it. I used haze reduction, which took away all this sort of fuzzy. There's moisture in the air in Florida. So when you're taking an image that you didn't see the moisture, but it's there. So when you do haze reduction, it takes away some of that. And then I boosted the contrast. And I think that you see it the most in this area here. And just what it did to the beak, which was my point of interest.
Photoshop?
Say, I think haze reduction is in Photoshop also.
I don't recall seeing it.
Yeah, I don't have it. I have 11, doesn't have it yet.
It's under enhance.
It's in 19, I can tell you that.
What?
Elements 19 has it.
Yeah, it's not in 11.
Regular Photoshop.
I don't know it. I look under, and does they have a heading called enhance, or that's just in elements? Yeah, that's where it is. It's in some of the presets.
They have a vibrance. I don't know if they have enhance. It's called vibrance.
Okay. Well, what I would do is Google, how do I do haze reduction? You may be able to do in Photoshop, because I take a class sometimes with this guy, Art, and he did a preset that did this as well, where he used vibrant, on raw, he used vibrance and contrast and one other thing and was able to get the same effect. And he just created this preset, and then it's just one click.
Got it.
But it is definitely magic.
It's under enhance, and it's about the 5th or 6th one down, auto haze removal.
Right. Okay, so look what it did here.
Beautiful.
Okay, this was the one that everybody loved anyhow. Haze reduction. I used levels to increase the brightness to give me a little bit more of the white to pop out. I increased the contrast. And then I used the burn tool, which is a little bit more sophisticated, but still very easy to do, and tone down all of these knots, because it was, to me, that was distracting away from the beauty of the image.
Very nice.
Okay, and I'm talking about a minute of work, literally a minute of work.
When you know what you're doing.
Well, but it's not, you just undo it. You could try anything. You can just take a picture and go across the top of all the editing tools, try each one, and then unclick it. So you click, unclick, you spend a half an hour figuring it out, and then you'll know for next time. But look at how this yellow.
Yellow is stunning, yeah.
Yeah, just huge difference.
Big difference, it's great.
Okay, great.
So it took a really nice picture and pushed it over the line to the next level. Same thing with this one. First of all, I cropped away this area here because I thought that the most important area was what was in front of the bird. This didn't add anything to the picture, so I cropped that away. I made it a square because I thought it really lent itself to that. I did the haze reduction again. Again, look at how nice the yellow is, and I increased the contrast. Nice. Simple stuff. Now this one everybody liked, okay? Here I took, that was the original image. This is with haze reduction and darkening. Look what happened here. I mean, that is such an interesting part of the body of this animal, and it just made it really nice. And it brought more attention to all of the, again, it increased the texture. And, in this kind of an animal, you're looking at texture as well as everything else. Okay.
Beautiful. The eye is great. Yeah, it's great. Good adjustment.
And then I went one step further. Here's the picture that I modified with the haze reduction. And now this takes a little bit more time. I used selection. I was able to go around the animal with the mouse, which then put all of this back area under my control. And I used Gaussian blur and softened all of it. And then I darkened the background to get rid of all these bright highlights. And this took me 5 minutes.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, that was really easy.
Great adjustment.
Very good.
So, I'm just saying that take the extra time. You're taking really good pictures. Pick a few and start fooling around with them. I think that's the last one. Yeah. Okay. Okay.
Good job, Adrienne.
Very nice.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
Thanks.
Thanks,
Yeah.
Dave.
All right. So enjoy. Our next event is with Irene Hill. I'll send out something over the weekend to remind everybody. I think a lot of you already registered for that. And she's going to be doing something that's more topic oriented, where we're going to look at things that you normally don't pay any attention to in your environment and take pictures of them and make them into really fun things to look at. Okay. And then at some point during the season, if enough people are interested, Anne had said that she would do a little thing on Photoshop Elements and show you some of those adjustment things.
And those were great fixes. That was great things.
And simple fixes. You don't have to sit there for the rest of your life doing them. Okay. All right. Thanks a lot, everybody.
Thank you. Good luck getting into your classes. I
Thank
don't miss trying to do that anymore. Eventually, I might get back to it, but I don't miss it. It was like nerve-wracking. You have to be in there. So
it is nerve-wracking, but I imagine to do it in 30 seconds is my goal.
Bye-bye.
Okay. Bye, everybody.
Thank you.
Bye.
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 Bye. Bye.